Should be okay. You guys can hear me all right? Okay, brilliant. So I'm going to take a liberty of being the first speaker to get the energy up. So could everyone please stand up? All right, okay. I'd like you to turn to someone next to you, a person next to you, and put one hand behind your back. Put your left hand behind your back. Turn to the person next to you. And if you haven't got two, you can go into three, but it might be a bit tricky. So turn to the person next to you, and I want you to raise your other hand in the air. And when I say go, I'd like you to high-five that person as many times as possible in the next 10 seconds. So 3, 2, 1, go. High five, 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 go, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, brilliant, excellent, fantastic. Now you can all sit down. Thank you very much. That is the visiting an art gallery, holding a glass of wine, wanting to clap for the opening with your friend, but having nowhere to put your wine glass trick. Now, the cool thing about that is, it's actually about what I'm talking about today. It's really about understanding the person who's sitting next to you and standing next to you, trying to sync up with what they're trying to do, and some timing. And did you find that actually in the end, well, first your energy levels goes up as you're doing it, right? The second part is you actually kind of get into some flow and sync, and you start to high-five each other properly. And then you do this weird thing where you just pass your hands back and forward, which is kind of awkward if it carries on for too long. But the idea is it's actually giving you something to connect with. And that's what I want to talk about today. So, breaking through on the climate path. Oh, crikey. We were talking before this kicked off, and we're in 2024. I've been working on this for 22 years. I'm obviously absolutely useless at climate change because we're still here. And I just want to gauge the audience, actually. So we did a few hands up. Let's do another hands up. So who thinks we can reach our goal of 43% emissions reductions by 2030 in this country? Who thinks we can reach that? 1, 2, okay. Who? 3, 4, okay, a few. Can. Okay, cool. Who thinks we will reach net zero by 2050? A few less, okay. So we can get to half our emissions by 2030. If we have the will, could possibly get there for 2050. That's 61 months from now. 266 weeks and 6 days to 2030. So 266 weeks to 2030. That's a big change that we got to do to reach that. What's the biggest lever we have to pull to get there? Just think about it for a second. What is the biggest lever we got to pull to solve this climate issue? Have you got an idea in mind?
When you say the biggest lever, what do you mean?
Anything, whatever it is. Is it technology? Is it passion? Is it complete economic meltdown? I'm not asking you to share it, just hold it in your mind. Do you have an idea? Okay, it's not a magic trick. I'm not going to pull it out from a hat somewhere. But hold that in your mind. Do you think we can do it with that lever in your mind? Yeah, me too. And that's what this story is about today. It's also about some very happy, fun little kids growing up in England, very middle class. This is probably a really crappy air show that my dad was dragging us to, and my mum is very nicely going along with it. And I grew up there, very middle class, very comfortable, really great, wonderful, very, very English, very ginger, very just doing a kid thing, right? And I was having a great time. It's my sister Laura, that's my mum. We had a wonderful time. I love them dearly. And there was something that was ticking in me, though. I really cared about the world. I cared about people. I remember at Christmas, my mum saying to me, I was reading our turkey dinner, saying, well, some people only get to eat a turkey sandwich at Christmas, and just crying. Because I felt how unfair that was. This is what's driven me to where we are today, to what I do every day. And there were things that came later on in life that were really tough. Started to care more about things, started to worry a lot more about things. Started to think, well, what am I going to do? Really, what am I going to do? How am I going to help this thing? And there were times where I thought, I question whether, am I going to have an impact? I question whether, is the world better with me? Or is the world actually better without me? I don't even know. It was tough. And I went through all these questions, and I kind of had this in my mind the whole time. Anyone who really knows me properly knows that there's a lot of thinking and a lot of stuff that's happening at the same time in my brain. But really it was about, can I be part of this? Am I good enough? Am I worthy enough to be doing something to save our planet? And sometimes I questioned that. So how did I deal with that? Well, started consuming a lot of resources. Lots of therapy. Yes, thank you very much. In England, if you get therapy, probably a bit different now, but 20 years ago, like, wow, you are certifiably nuts. Lots of self-help, anything I could get my hands on. I would just consume, just see, how can I get over this anxiety, this anxiousness, this worry and confusion? And so I kept going. And the good news was, I kind of found a way to get through it. And that was courage and taking small steps and changing the way I thought about it. It wasn't the fact that I didn't have these challenges. It wasn't the fact that I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD a year and a half ago. It wasn't the fact that I found waking up some mornings where I just couldn't go out of bed or had no kind of way of thinking about the future. It wasn't that. It was these small moments where I could suddenly see a light and suddenly see something that could go forward. And I couldn't believe it. This is this year, my 45th birthday, with my beautiful family, which I'm very, very lucky to have. And the humility I have in having this is that I never actually thought this was going to happen. I never thought I'd get to meet these amazing people. I never thought I'd actually get to be in this thing. And of course, this comes with a prerequisite finger in the nose from the 4-year-old. On my birthday to send to the grandparents, smile. Okay. The thing that I found as I got to this point with these, get to having a family and getting to actually work on the things I worked on, was that I wasn't brought up to think that you can just go and do anything. This is pretty standard, keep it easy, go get a job, get some university, get a job. And I remember thinking, I've got to go and do something different. And I applied 5 streams of funding to get my PhD. 5 streams, 4 of them rejected me. This candidate has no idea what's going on. They have zero, they have no idea what's happening. And the final one, I remember phoning the guy as I walked through St. James's Park as I worked in the sales office and said, have I got this funding? And he goes, yeah, you came 2nd in the country. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Squeeze me? 2nd in the country, and I got to go to Oxford and study carbon finance. It blew my mind. And when I graduated from Oxford, you do a Viva exam, you're getting dressed up in your gown, you got your bow tie, and that shit still is real. You go and do your Viva, the professors interview you and grill you on your thesis, and they tell you about 15 minutes afterwards whether you passed or not. And they came in, and I passed. And I walked outside. I went and sat on the grass in a park, and I phoned my mum, and I cried. I couldn't believe it. How could I be here? How could this have even happened? And it blew my mind. With all humility, because I didn't think it was ever possible. And that's what we're talking about today. We have an exponential challenge. Tipping points are coming. We're not reaching the goals we need to. We have a massive problem. Lots of different things in climate change. I'm not going to talk about that today. We have exponential technology that's going faster and faster and faster, even faster than we think we could even control. These are 2 things which are psychologically incredibly difficult for humans to deal with. But I could have given up at any stage on this. And I'm asking, do we have what it takes to keep going and to deal with these exponential, existential challenges that we're starting to face? What's this? Data center? Data house? Yes? Okay, cool. Are there more of these going on or fewer of them? More? Why are there more data centers and data houses going in? AI, phones, AI, okay, AI, all right, cool. Well, AI, brilliant. Nothing to worry about in AI. It's mostly just like the films. Oh, wait a second. All right, we're on a timeline here, so I've got to get going. So here's what I'd like us to do. Is this a safe room? What I want to mean by that is, are we going to criticize people if they've got an idea? Or are we going to say, no, this is a safe room, any ideas are welcome, there's no bad idea. If you think this is a safe room, please put your hand in the air. Okay, brilliant, wonderful, thank you. This is a safe room. So what I'd like you to do is turn to the person next to you, and in 60 seconds, talk to them. If you're in a 3, please talk in a 3. I'd like you to think about what is your biggest concern about the pace of progress for climate change, number one, and what is your biggest concern about technology, AI, blockchain, whatever it is, and climate change. 60 seconds, and I'm going to call you back. Ready, steady, go.
AI.
30 seconds. Okay, cool. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, I know this is hard. This is quick. Shout out some answers. What worries you the most? What's the biggest? I'm sorry? No one's drunk?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. I thought no one's drunk. Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump. Thank you very much. Fossil fuels. Yes. Sorry, regression. Regression of?
Advancement.
Yes. Okay, brilliant, fantastic.
Public opinion.
Public opinion.
Lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. Okay.
Global collaboration.
Global collaboration. Okay. What about global collaboration?
How we do that.
Yeah. It's too complex? There's too many other incentives?
Particular leaders, I don't want to name anyone in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah, yeah.
A complex array of leaders that we've
Yeah.
got.
Thank you.
To see how the work can work together to solve the problem.
Thank you. What was your name? Mike. Thank you, Mike. Brilliant. Okay. Collaboration, regression, all this kind of stuff. Are those components of happiness, creativity, or are they fear, negativity? Which ones are they, do you think? Fear, negativity. Okay, yeah. What do you think is the biggest problem when we're thinking about fear and negativity?
Fear creates fear.
Fear creates fear. Yeah. Paralyzing, yes.
Narrow vision.
Narrow vision. Paralyzing. What was your name?
Jane.
Hi, Jane. What about paralyzing? Why is paralyzing so difficult in this?
Because you don't need to do the stuff you need to do.
Yeah. So we can't act. Yeah. This is one of the biggest problems that we're seeing, especially with exponential technologies and exponential problems like climate change, that becomes paralyzing because it's so big. Where do we stop? Where do we start? Where do we take that next step? I'd really like to emphasize right now, and this is meant to be blank, that there's one thing that's happening in the world that I think we can all change to make a big difference in where we're going for climate change and sustainable development in general. Do you know who Roger Bannister is? Yeah, what did Roger Bannister do? He ran the 4-minute mile. He did the first 4-minute mile in 1954. He broke that. He was the first person to ever break that. Do you know how long he held the record for?
No, like 20. It was a long time.
Well, funnily enough, it was actually between the two, 46 days. There were a bunch of people going for it. And there's been 1,744 people who run the sub-4 mile since then. But he was, do you think that Roger just kind of got up one day and said, I'm just going to go and run the 4-minute mile? What did he face? Do you think he faced criticism? Do you think he faced doctors saying you're going to blow your lungs up? He faced all of that and he said, I'm going to do it anyway. And then another person did it 46 days later, and then a whole bunch of other people did it as well. So he had to overcome some fear. He had to overcome the point that he needed to be able to do this himself. And that is where I think we can make a difference in this whole sustainable development game. And that is, if we wish to achieve your potential in life, but also for this planet, we've got to dispel with our limiting beliefs. If we do not get rid of our limiting beliefs, we cannot make a difference. And it's not just me that thinks this, which is lucky. This is from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Have you heard of MIT? Yeah? They're kind of reasonable? Yeah? Okay. So MIT, what are they known for? They're known for technology, forming companies. In fact, the companies that have come out of graduates of MIT are worth $3 trillion in the current economy. Founders who've come from MIT, $3 trillion. These guys are used to making technology, robots, all that kind of stuff, and also Noam Chomsky, and social disruption and critique. And this guy, Otto Scharmer, who came up with this model. And this model is part of the thing called ULab, and it's about creating a different planet by connecting with each other. On the top, the bad stuff, on the bottom, the good stuff. But I want to highlight 3 things. His model here, remember this is out of the business school at MIT, is curiosity, compassion, and courage. Having an open mind, an open heart, and an open will. This is what one of the best schools in the entire world thinks is the way we should do business. And I tend to agree. So how do we make this into something we can do for climate? Well, maybe we get another model. Oh, God, I'm an academic at heart. Well, I can't help but stick some things together and chuck them on a slide. This I call the climate tech ikigai. Have you ever heard of ikigai before? Yeah? How do we understand our niche on this world? Fantastic. Well, how do we understand our niche on this world in the context of climate change, but not just climate and tech? We are in a massive pickle with climate change. We need to have technology that's going to run, but we need to choose our technology very carefully and make sure it's working very well. So how do we do that? I think we have to do it in 3 ways. First of all, personal growth. We have to take the time to know ourselves, know who we are, know where we stand and what we stand for. And that means self-inquiry. The second one is, what motivates us? Why do we get up every day? This is the converted. Why do we get up every day to do the work we do? Really, not just the paycheck, not just because it looks cool. Shit, I wrote down so many times, Dr. Adam Bumpus, BSc, ONS, MA, DPhil, Oxon. I'm like, God, that's going to feel good. And then I got it, I'm like, okay, nothing felt any different. But the point is, what drives us here and what drives me is equity. That we can use technology to bring more access to clean water, to clean energy, to more people in the world. And the technological impact is, can we tread carefully with the technology we're using? Not to say not deploying it, but deploying technology is really going to create a difference in the world. And if we do this properly, we can act with care, we can act with impact, and we can act with courage. And the courage is the bit about getting over those self-limiting beliefs. Remember when I told you that I will question whether actually I should even be here doing any of this? On the planet, I mean? Well, that was courage. I could have given up many, many times and didn't. And things have failed. Lots of things have failed. Lots of things haven't worked out, but lots of things have. And if we keep taking that path, we can get somewhere. This is what I think we actually need to do. This little Elio, he's 4 years old. He's actually 3 here. He loves Pearl Jam, so do I. But I think we need to do this. We, as a people, can drum like no one's watching. And Lorraine's seen this. This is my favorite thing. If you don't remember anything from today, please remember this. Hand signals are really important in any language. This one, peace. This one, love, with your thumb out. And this one, rock and roll. If we do that, we're going to solve this problem. Thank you very much.